What's up? Welcome back to another Interviews with Drew. I haven't done this in a minute, so let's hope I'm not too rusty. It's been over a year since I did my last interview because of the pandemic, because of everything. But I have a special guest in the building today, my boy Wes. Thank you for coming, bro. I appreciate that.
You, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
CDGWES or West?
CDG.
CDGWES.
Yeah.
Okay, got to come correct.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah. How you been, man? I haven't seen you since Kamari's birthday.
Man, I've been good, man.
It's been a couple months.
Yeah, it's been good. Stay on the music. So other than that, I got an EP that just dropped out, and it did pretty good, and everybody have a good listen. I got a couple singles too, so
exactly
everything's going good.
Exactly, and that's what we're here to talk about. But I wanted to say thank you for messaging me and reaching out to me.
Yeah, of course. I haven't seen you out here,
Yeah, because
doing this.
Even what's it called? When you came here last time, that was even longer.
Right.
And I wanted to bring you back a couple months ago, but you were in Miami for a thing that Ty and I are working on. But everything works out for a reason. So I'm just glad that you're here. And
of course.
Also, like I said, I haven't done one of these, so it's kind of like a calling to come back to it. Then I had another friend that hit me up like right after you, like, oh, interview, da da da.
Yeah.
So like it's time to get the ball rolling again. Can't just
I'm
stay
glad to be
stagnant.
here, man. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for my opportunity.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. How has it been this past year or past couple of years, especially with COVID? After 2019, that's when we met last for the interview.
Right.
And then since then, obviously, everything kind of went to shame.
Yeah.
So how's that been for you?
Well, as far as COVID for as far as music for shows, is definitely was a big loss because I had a lot of stuff lined up, a lot of little stuff to have. But musically, it was a blessing though at the same time because I was able to be in the studio more. I was in the studio before, writing and doing other stuff, but I was able to focus on myself musically more in the studio. So, other than that, it's been truly a blessing, honestly. But as far as like the COVID and things with my family, everybody's been safe. Everybody's been vaccinated and all that stuff like that. But yeah, but it's as far as shows and stuff though, it's been a loss. But other than that though, I could honestly say like I helped my music more being in the studio. But
that's definitely the most important thing, that family's safe, family's good.
Course,
a lot of people pass away. Rest in peace to those who pass away from COVID, and we're still going through it. It's gotten a little bit better, but we're still going through it. So shouts out to everybody out there who's losing somebody.
Of course, yes.
But so that means that you said that you were in the studio more often.
Right.
What was your regiment like before that? Like how often would you go to the studio?
It would be a lot of working, like as far as like pertaining to not the studio, it would be a lot of other stuff. It would be more of family business or me having my job and stuff like that. But honestly, after COVID, it was everybody had to sit down. The whole world had to sit down basically. So me sitting down was more of me focusing more on my craft, and I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, one of the beautiful things that happened because of the pandemic is everybody got to sit down, take that time to rethink what they're doing in life and how their life is going. And then kind of just go from there and say, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. A lot of people quit their jobs. A lot of people followed their dreams.
Of course.
A lot of people made more money during COVID because they followed their dreams and stuff like that. Do you think that your work got better because you're in the studio more?
Of course, yeah. Anytime you really dedicate yourself to your craft, the results gonna be better than what you expected. A lot of times I was worried about how my sound was gonna be and how people was gonna take it, because not a lot of people really understand it sometimes, But I was able to be on some time where it's like, it's just like everybody's making music, everybody trying to do something, so why not trying to stand out, of course. But yeah, it always helped me focus more though.
That's
of course,
good.
Music always helped me focus.
One of the things as a consumer, as a listener of music, it definitely changed for me.
Right.
Because usually
you value it more, like as far as like.
I think it's not that I valued it less. It's that I felt like I made time for it less.
Right.
I feel like because whenever I did listen to an album, it was either on the way to work, on the way to school.
Right.
I've been out of school for 3 years already, which is crazy to say. But those were the times that I would listen to music walking down the city. You have your anthem that you play while you're walking. So I feel like staying at home kind of messed that up a little bit, and then people would stay dropping. So I was like, well, I have nothing to listen to this to, like all the party records. We're not at the club listening to the
Yeah,
records, so it was
yeah.
a little bit different, and it kind of shifted the way I listened to music. So I had to like force myself to like, all right, let me go on a drive and then listen to music. Did you
Right.
see any of that yourself, or anybody?
Nah, I'm just a music lover all the way. It's just like I think honestly, in my opinion, it helped me value it more because it's just like now since everybody's in the same situation,
Yeah.
it's the same. Now we gonna see who really could come
Yeah.
out the the pack. But it's just like I think that's what made everybody go harder. Honestly, it's just like everybody's in this COVID situation, so it's just like we got to make better music for the people. Honestly, so I think the artists, everybody, as far like from me to Drake, care more as far as music wise, like what we need to put out so these people
Yeah.
could listen to music while they're going through these tough times and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was thinking like that's how I was approaching it as well. I was like, regardless of this COVID situation, music is music, you know. So it's just if you make better music, then I think it's going to help. But yeah, that's what I honestly took from COVID.
Got you. Before we get into your album, before we get into your bodies of work, I want to talk a little bit about where you're from, because just let the audience know where you're from. Where you repping.
Of course, White Plains, Ferris Ave all day,
Mm-hmm.
to the fullest. Shout out White Plains, man. Yeah, I'm room for everybody out there.
And when you go to like a club or you go perform and you say White Plains, do people say, because
It's a little stigma, but
exactly, because I lived in New Rochelle.
yeah,
like
of course.
So
you know how that go. Westchester kids, but it's a little stigma. We gonna get that straight though. We gonna get that straight. But honestly, it's just that people, got to extend their ear. Personally, it's the drill scene is the popping scene right now, you know, and that's a city wave, and they took that, they got that, but it's other places too, in New York. But everybody just got to extend their ear, and everybody just got to show love.
Exactly. So who were you listening to growing up?
Growing up,
obviously 914. We had
yeah, of course. You got Jada, you got X, you got the Locks. Let me phrase that. Got the Locks.
Yep.
Jay, of course. It's just my inspirations is varies. I could say Jay, but Michael Jackson's my favorite artist of all time. You know what I'm saying? But
Best
it's just
artist of
like
all time.
But it's just like it's not as far as like the image and stuff. But it's just I know like musically he, you know what I'm saying, he was that guy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Quincy?
And, Quincy Jones. A lot of people don't even know what he did for music. You know what I'm saying? 40 years on, 50 years on, that man been in music forever. And that's also one of my producer lookups. You know what I'm saying? I got different sections of lookups. You know what I'm saying? For style and stuff, you could go to Cam. You know what I'm saying? You could be on a different type of wave. Kanye is my biggest producer lookup I think of. But, Drake, obviously, because he I think now, not because Certified Lover Boy, it's just like now I think from his bodies of work, he's in my list now. Even though with all the Ghost Rock stimulus, but I think he's just my list though.
Well, that's one thing. That's a conversation too that we all have. Who's the best rapper? But also you have to have who's the best artist.
Right.
Currently, Drake to me is the best artist.
Right.
Out of everybody.
And certain people don't understand that. And some people just think like because of that. Yeah. That's why. But like artist wise, like that's what I look for. I look for who when you come in the room, it's like, yo, he's that guy. It's a different thing. It's a different feeling.
And for rapper, I think Kendrick. Well, I have two. Personally, Royce the 5'9" is my
sleeper
rapper bar for bar. Yeah,
sleeper,
bar for bar.
Big sleeper.
He amazing, but I would say more mainstream. Kendrick to me is a better rapper than Drake, and I hope that he's coming out soon. Yeah, Family Ties and all that stuff.
Let me ask you a question, my guy. You think there's a little beef with them too?
With Drake and Kendrick? Oh, of course.
As long as you know. As long as everybody, as long as my guys pay attention, man. As long as my guy paying attention, man. Listen to the music, people. That's another topic for another day.
And there should be.
Yeah, I know.
There should be a little tension,
of course.
Not all the way. Like
crazy,
I think the Kanye and Drake situation, I think that what's unfortunate is, I don't know if you heard Andre 3000's verse.
Yeah, I heard it.
That kind of, it's such a powerful verse, but it was sucked into this beef.
Right.
And then stuff like that, I don't like that.
I honestly think, Drake pulled the move, but I think it backfired. But it was a move where I think it was just made out of just anger. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like I think he didn't want that out. I think Ye was just, he should have put it out with a different verse, but I think he didn't want that out. But
Yeah, and especially as respected as Andre 3000
Of
is,
course, yeah,
everybody loves
yeah,
him. It's that I don't think they should have did that. Somebody else that's respected that we didn't touch upon too, who's a legend, DMX.
yeah.
Obviously, rep Mount Vernon,
Rest in peace,
Yonkers.
man.
Rest in peace
Yonkers,
to
Westchester,
DMX. That's
Westchester's
just
own.
another
I got
legend too.
a little special connection with X.
Hmm.
My aunt, shout out to my aunt Steph. She works with Rough Riders, so
Oh wow.
yeah. So it was a lot of before I seen him in his late years before he passed on us,
Hmm.
but he was a good, genuine dude. Every time you see him, it's just like you. He's just like you from Westchester. Like he's just
Yeah.
a regular dude walking. Like you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying. But it was just like I think like he showed so much love, and that's why I respect about X. Like he would give somebody a free pair of Timbs or a free pair of sneakers, knowing that they in a situation worse than him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I respect most about X. Like I respect the music and all that, but as a person, you know what I'm saying, it would just look like, yo, he's a cool dude. Like you can
Hmm.
relate to him. Like he's not just what the image perceives. You know?
Exactly, and also to see somebody that grew up in your area too,
Right, right. Of course,
and
yeah. And you
so
see that they did it and they
yeah.
made it out. You know, and now it's like everybody can do
Hmm.
it. You know?
That's why I always said I would never be an artist myself because I know how hard it is. I know the hours and hours and work you want that you put into it to
Hmm.
become better. Just like we were talking about before, I think also myself that my expectations or the way I think and look and hear music or listen to music
Right,
has changed as well, especially as
right,
you get older.
right,
I'm more into like the little fine details and stuff like that. And so I think that seeing an artist or seeing people who I know that are artists do that and seeing them rise just as people saw X rise like around the neighborhood, around the block, the locks
right,
and
right.
just as
Yeah,
all
it's just it's a
musicians
different
in
energy.
general.
It's a
It's
different
yeah,
energy, especially when it's somebody you know and it's somebody that's around your area,
yeah.
and it's just a
And
different
to
energy.
reach those heights,
Of course,
yeah.
man. Come on, you going
I was, I
talking about
was
back to back platinum albums in 1 year?
exactly.
That's a lot. That's a
I,
lot.
I saw the documentary in 1999 Woodstock where
Right.
that's where he performed
Yeah.
where this the sea of people like that.
That's a
That's
different type of energy. You know, that's
exactly
what I mean. He's the man of the people. It's like
yeah,
not a lot of people can hold that torch. You know,
exactly.
not a lot of people can really walk around outside. You know,
Mhm.
and grace the people in a genuine way.
Mhm.
Now for the for the camera,
Exactly.
but I think I thank God that he was here for that. You know,
Exactly.
he expressed himself through music like that.
For sure. Rest in peace to X.
Right.
That actually goes into one of my other questions that I have for you. How your family was influential with you doing music? Because a lot of times you could have pushback,
Hmm.
you could have all the support in the world, or parents just don't really care. So how was your
Right.
family with you doing
Um,
music?
they was late to the party. I'll say that.
Hmm.
My as far as my parents, they was late to the party, but I always had influence of music in the family. Like my uncle did a lot of producing in the back of the day. He produced for LL, got credits on there. He did a soundtrack for oh man, I forgot it. Let's
So
go. But it was a thing with it was with Busta Jada. It was a label. They had like a collaboration album. I forgot what it was
gotcha.
called, but I'll probably get it in my head sometime.
Exactly.
But
After the interview, that's
nah,
okay.
yeah, of course, yeah, that's what always happens. But yeah, he was very. I think him the most was more influential as far as like my family goes, because I will always just be in the studio just watching him just make beats.
Mhm.
But like later on, I think he just not sort of gave it up, but he just was always having it as a hobby, and that was a
Yeah.
good thing to me because that's just healthy. You know what I'm saying? Just to have that. Even though you think you ain't gonna make the heights that you used to make, you
Mhm.
still having it as a hobby. You still doing something, still
Yeah.
contributing to music, of course.
Yeah.
So I'll always be watching my uncle, and my aunt was always in the entertainment industry as well.
Mhm.
So she would just be doing concerts as I used to do church tours at the Apollo
That's dope.
it was with Kurt Franklin. It was one time Shirley, I forgot her name too. Man, I gotta get back to my bad. But yeah, I used to do stuff like that. But
Mhm.
running around seeing people like that, just like yo, this is what I like to do. It's just the entertainment business is just like
Mhm.
it's just that they just appreciate it more. I was always around people that appreciate music a lot.
That's good. And church is always usually like a big influence,
Of
especially in
course,
the black
yeah. Of
community.
course,
That's like
yeah.
the center for a lot of stuff that we do. So that's good to see that. And you also get to see your uncle and your aunt
Yeah.
from different sides, probably. One's producing, one's in entertainment around Rough Riders and stuff like that. So you got to see that as a kid growing up.
Of course, yeah.
When was the first time that you thought I could try this? I could try to rap or I could try to produce. When was the first time?
Okay. Uh, jeez, I think I was in school, and then the success of my friend, my boy Jace, shout out Space 914.
Mm-hmm.
The success of him, it really pushed me to a level where it's just like, yo, like I could do this too. But it wasn't like because he did it, but it was just more of a, like you said, somebody somebody that's very going up there. Is like, yo, I want to try this too.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I always had music in mind. It was just like I always played basketball in school too, so I always had music in mind. It was just like now I'm gonna try to do it myself. Now I'm gonna try to push and do it and see what I could push this thing, And I think when my first record came out and did some numbers, it was for certain like I want to do this, but I also had a shy thing to it too, because it was just like from my neighborhood especially, if you before at this time, right now it's free. Everybody can do whatever they want. They can make art. They could be an artist. They could do whatever they want. Back then, back in the day, it was always some limits. Like, if you don't play ball, you didn't get there. It's like, all right, now you gotta get a job.
Yeah.
Or if you know what I'm saying, you sell drugs, do that. You know what I'm saying? But the rapper thing was always kind of a jokey thing around my city. So it was just like, if you're a rapper, it was just like, if you're not really on, they would just look at you like you something wrong with you. Like, yo, why you rapping out of all things to do? Right now, it's different. Everybody rapping. But back then, like I said, I had a shy thing to it because honestly, at first, I didn't want my friends to know. And then, number two, I just didn't want to be looked at as upon as that guy. Like, yo, like, you rapping? Like, that's what you doing with your life? You know what I'm saying? But even though it sounds depressing, it's just like, that's the way it is at the time. But
it was a stigma to it.
Yeah, it was a stigma to it. It was a big stigma to it. So at that time, I was really hesitant about it, but I always kept it on the low, and I always stayed, with my clique at the time.
Yeah.
So after it did a couple numbers and people started talking about it, it was more so why you didn't tell me than accusing me like, yo, why are you rapping? It was more of like, yo, why you didn't tell me about it? Like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you doing your thing out here. And then I was just like, all right, I could do it. I could be amongst my friends. And then that's when I started getting comfortable with music in general. And that's when I was starting to get into writing and starting looking up what is credits, what is in the, what's amount, like how much money can I get in this music thing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as, because it's a lot of artists out there at that time.
Yeah.
And still now today. And it's like, what makes you want to be different? What makes you stand out amongst the crowd? So that's when I started getting into beat making. And then once I started doing that, I think I just had a natural thing for that, because my uncle and I would just learn patterns. I just know that. Like, I would just be banging the tables when I was used to be in school. So I was always the beat guy. I wasn't like the rap and the you know what I'm saying? So I always had a natural thing for beats. So once I did that, it was like, all right, so it's gonna go from here. I can make my own beats, do my own music. Exactly. I was like, we're gonna stop me. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have a preference for one or the other?
At times.
Okay.
I love collaborating. Not saying that I collaborate when I write, but I love collaborating. Like, I love getting in the studio with other people and they hear my beat and they actually appreciate it, and you could tell they appreciate it. It's not no side fake shit. I curse on it.
Yeah.
Oh, so ain't no side fake shit over here. But when they actually appreciate my beats, it's just like yo, this. Sometimes it goes more crazier than my music like earlier, and I was just like, yo, this is a niche right here. This is a good thing. So once I started doing that, like started giving beats to people, I think that was more of a wave. But then I started getting back into my artistry. Like, I don't want to say lately, but back into my mode like before. But honestly, it varies. Sometimes it be beats, sometimes it be music. But I just like making music. So
and one of the strong things or the good things about you knowing how to do both is that the more you know, especially in the music industry, the better that is for you.
Of course,
because a lot of times that you know how much that you would get for a beat. You know how much that if you have to lease a beat, you know what it takes to write, you know what to give an artist, if you know what a certain song is missing as well, just by listening to it. Because, I've made beats, so I know that you could add a kick here, add a drum there, bass here,
right.
You could change it a little bit, so you know more of that, and also you could write as well.
Yeah.
That's great to have as an artist, that's on the music side. But let's move over a little bit to the business side as well.
Of course, yeah.
Did your uncle or aunt ever, go into the business side and stuff like that of music? Because a lot of artists, we talked about Michael Jackson. They've had.
I'm very much of a student of the game. I always was looking up to The Hove is my biggest inspiration. Everybody that knows me knows that. That's like a definite for sure number one thing. His biggest thing is business. So
Yeah.
from there, I'm like, all right, so what is he rapping about for real? Like, what is he really rapping about, these figures and I'm getting 40% of it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll be like, yo, what is he talking about? Like,
Exactly.
and I always would think that when I was young. So I'll ask my uncle at times, and at time I was at the basketball scene, so I wasn't really into music, but I'll always just be asking him just sometimes. I'm like, yo, how much is a beat worth, or how much does somebody get off a percentage? And he'll just tell me sometimes, like they jerk you sometimes, how they would jerk you. Sometimes they'll tell you that you just pay for the beat and you won't get your royalties, you know? A lot of stuff like that. Like, but as far as the business side, I always wanted to preach that upon my friends too, that's with me in the industry as well. Like sometimes I'll be like, yo, like you getting your credit, you getting your shit right, and they'll be like, yeah, of course, you know how that go. Like, but sometimes people don't really be thinking like that, you know. And then it'll be like little situations, like it'll be times where I'll just make a beat and I'll send it to somebody, and I'll get the beat back, but then again they'll like be like rearranging the beat, and that's when I'll be like, yo, like, who told you to do all that? But that would just be like little interests and stuff. That I'll just be like, oh, that my uncle taught me that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Don't send your beats around. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing who going, you know? So, yeah, but other than that, I know the business well. I'll always be studying upon that. I was recently reading the music, the business of law. It's an audio book on Apple Music. It was written by a music lawyer. And it's basically give you the law of music. They basically tell you have to have a manager, you have to have an agent. You know, it's a lot of stuff that help you musically. And I've been reading that or listening to that, for probably like 2 months, and I finished the book. And that right there changed the whole philosophy for me. I also look up to people like Ryan Leslie. You know, he's very heavy into the music business. Like he has his own website where you could buy music off the website. There's no iTunes involved. It's straight money there. So that's when I was just like, yo, like it's different people in the game. Even though he's not, everybody knows who Ryan Leslie is, don't get me wrong, but like even though everybody's not big on Ryan Leslie, it's like he's still getting money like the same as somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like it's more of a just learning from everybody. Yeah,
especially with the rise of independence in music.
Of course,
too.
yeah, because he was one of the first ones on that wave. Like, I'm going independent with, like, he had an album called Mozart. He has a Mozart documentary on YouTube. If anybody, young artists, want to watch that and see how people really work, that's how it really is. He wake up at like 4 a.m, does a whole regiment, runs, and then goes to the studio, and he trains himself. He used to go to Harvard, so he used to train himself to sleep. Yeah, he used to train himself to sleep like for 4 hours just for studying though. But now it's like in the studio, so I'm just like, yo, like, he's a machine. But he also is smart. He also knows, like, yo, he put me onto the book. So it was just like learning from him, learning from Hove, learning from Ye, a billionaire, you know? From college dropout to a billionaire. It's just like a lot of stuff. It's just a lot of stuff that just I'll be like, ooh, that's a good teaching tool to learn.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of the most important parts, that because artists, obviously, a lot of artists, they just want to make the music, and that's because that's what they love doing, but they don't understand that the business side, and it could be ruthless, and
of course,
a lot of great artists, they don't get to make it as far as they could because of that, and they get bad deals and everything. One of my goals is to be an A&R, because I just, like I said, I kind of train myself to look at music or listen to music a different way and just find patterns and and then even just searching for artists as well, especially with the project that Ty and I are working on. So that's one of my goals to do. And we had Wendy Day. I had the luxury of speaking with her, and she's gotten so many artists out of bad deals. Wow. She's a white lady. She lives in Atlanta right now. I think that's where she's based. But she's gotten artists out of deals. She worked with Young Money or Cash Money, or just back in the day, Birdman. And even Birdman, one of the things he said was, "Oh, you have to sue me, then I'll pay you."
Yeah.
So it's like it's even learning, like, she had to go through that, and so hearing that, I was like, I had to ask her. I was like, okay, I want to be an A&R, and I have friends that do music, but I would never want to put them in a bad situation.
Right.
And so she gave me advice on the side and everything, which I appreciate her for that. But yeah, no, that's the fact that you know business, and especially because your uncle did it, and now you know about it. That's definitely a good thing. Favorite Jay album, since Jay's your favorite.
Gosh, man, put me on the spot, guy. All right,
Reasonable Doubt.
I can't say. All right, Reasonable Doubt is the greatest, I think, first album debut I think of all time.
That's a great
But
conversation to have.
but I gotta put Blueprint, cause that's when the start of Ye was with it. So that's when Ye first came on Rockefeller. I gotta put, the Black Album. Man. Wow. It's a lot, man. I could say Blueprint 3. I could say I could say 444, obviously, but that's a classic album. But it's not. It's a lot. It varies sometimes.
Yeah, and especially he's put out so much work over the
years. Especially that whole the feature run he had. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about when he had the features with Pharrell and all that type of that was his different sounds. That's when it really was oh, he's different musically. That's when it was just he could touch those barriers. But yeah, it varies though.
Gotcha.
I don't got a list, but it's I don't got a list.
For me, I think because of the impact, I always say Get Rich or Die Trying. That's debut. Because
as far as sales, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you 50. I'll give you 50 for that. Because 03, that's when it's when when it was over. That's when it was a good run. That was a good run. I think him and Pop Smoke, it wasn't an identical run, but it was similar. It was very, very similar. RP Pop Smoke, but it's very similar though. Yeah, but
I agree. That and Good Kid, Mad City is one of the best. Because those, I think, because for me, those are the ones that I remember the most, and I think that's what set Kendrick apart from everybody else, and everybody's just the world stopped. Yo, what is this? Who is this kid? From Compton. He just came in and changed the game for that. Do you remember the first rap you wrote?
The first rap
you didn't put it out?
No. Honestly, I think that my first rap that I rapped on a actual recording thing was in college when I was just bullshitting. I was just trying to see. If first of all I was trying to see how I sound. Number one. Number two, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Number three, it was all right. At least I did it. At least I'm hearing myself all right, rapping, but I don't remember the first rap. Nah, I don't remember. Usually, I used to be rapping like everybody else back in the days with kids, and I used to be rapping around in the lunch table, regular stuff like that. But that never really was yo, I need to rap first, going in the post. Nah, I never really did that. I'm mainly off the top. If I don't know if anybody would be telling you that, but I'll be mainly rapping off the top. But I definitely be writing stuff on the pad. Don't get me wrong, but mainly is off the top because obviously I want to train myself to be lyrically a good rapper. So I know that matters. So, but I don't remember my first rap. I ain't gonna lie.
Gotcha.
I ain't gonna remember. I know what I did though. I know I really rapped with my friends, but it was just not really.
Do you know how long did it take you to open up to other people and to show your music to other people?
It took a long time, honestly.
A year? Months?
No, not really. Yeah, some change. I could give you that. Yeah, some change. Like I said, shout out to Space 914. It was just me and him. It was more so me asking him, can I go to his crib to record, than him yo, we need to put you know what I'm saying? It was more so at first a hobby. Then I started realizing the quality of it was good. So I'm just all right, so let me put this out. And then when I put it out, it was more of a secret at first 3 months because nobody was just was really on it like that. It was just more about getting my fan base together. And I never really told people. I wasn't promoting and stuff like that.
So we've delved into a lot in the past 30 minutes about you, your story, and how you've been getting into music. What's one of the biggest takeaways of working with people and working with people? Let's do that first, and then working by yourself. What's the biggest difference between that?
I'll start with by myself. By myself is anything's possible. I could sing whatever I want, rap whatever I want. It's no limits. And working with people is, especially writing wise, you got to cater to them. It's not more so how you put your input on it. It's more so of a collaboration effort. And make it beats as well. Is what do they cater? I'm not going to send, like I said, Rashad Kamari. I ain't going to send Rashad Kamari a crazy drill beat.
Yeah.
You know, because like that's not his vibe. But I was telling him his vibe, and it would go out like that. But I think being by myself, like I said, there's no limitations. But you know, working with people and working, you know, with like as far as beats wise, is always what they cater to and what you cater to as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's what they cater to mostly.
Got you. So with that, let's get into your music, your EP, your project that dropped, the Free Tape Volume 2 that dropped March 5th, 2021. Why did you think that this was the right time to drop it?
This was a lot of me being the perspective of myself. It was more so, it was, how can I get this sound like to debut? You know, is if you listen to the EP, is more of a, it's different. It's not every song is not going to sound the same. Every song is different, and that's what I aim for. But melodically, it was just like, how am I going to get this sound to the people, and how is this going to translate to them? Because it could be a good sound, don't get me wrong, but if it doesn't translate to the people, it's not going to relate. So it was just more so creating, and that was like my first full album where I produced. And shout out to Lonnie on the beat. He co-produced Care For You. And
That's my favorite.
yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, but he's also been a help with this album as well. We started building a relationship, like I said, back in 2018. He was one of the first producers to work with me. So it was like, yo, it was a blessing in disguise, because at first we both was putting out music, but it was more so him he was on his producing tip, but he was just starting out, and I was just started out as musically, so we both built up together. So it's kind of crazy seeing how like everybody's reacted to it, and we been knew it from the jump. Like, yo, once we get the right collab, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be on the popping. But that's my guy for sure. But other than that song, I produce all of them, and I'm just like, yo, this is where I like being. So yeah, it was more so me being in the cave, me being by myself, me, you know, having no limitations. It was me and shout out my manager, Frank. It was me and him in the studio mainly, and my boy Matt, he was just giving me sounds, and it was just like, yo, like, it was just instant like body work. Like,
Yeah.
we in the studio every day. It was like some of the songs that made the album, it was probably like 30. And even though it was a short, list of songs, it's like, what, like I said, what songs are going to translate to the people? It could be a lot of samples, could be a lot of like, you know, sample songs. What I call them sample songs.
Yeah.
That's like songs where I'll be just doing songs just to see how the sound feel, and then I test it out for a couple of days, and it's getting cut, you know. But that's how I do. I just make music, and then whatever make the cut.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that's how it was. It was just mainly cave songs. Those are all just like songs I just been in the studio with, just doing.
Did you accomplish everything you wanted with this project?
Yes, I did. Cause the reaction to it was what I expected. It was like, yo, this shit is different. It's not like this typical rap album, you know. And I want it to be like that, and that's what I was aiming for. Now the next project I'm aiming for is more of a commercial feel. You know, now we get into the show how really versatile I really am, and that's what I'm trying to get to as far as this next project. But that project, I'm proud of that, because I want to say it's not my debut, but it's like I felt like that was my debut. Like that was like solidified. Yo, it's the CDGWES project. It ain't no fly on the wall. It ain't no like a regular West thing. It was like, yo, and that was the first time I went by that name as well. So yeah, it was definitely a different project.
I definitely appreciate the project, and I even reached out to you. I was like, "Yo, this is fire."
Yeah,
like,
I agree. Yeah, I appreciate. I told you, man. You was one of the first people to do that too.
Really?
So yeah.
Shockingly,
you was one of the first people to do that, and I appreciate it. I know you always show genuine love. So
of course,
yeah.
Time. And like I said, I love to see my friends grow and win and do things and that's why I asked how you felt about your own project, because, you know, I want you have to love it before anybody else can love it.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing before it dropped. It was like, it was I ain't gonna fight. I ain't gonna lie. It was like, it was little fights with me and my manager. It was just like, yo, cause some songs he liked and some songs I like. Now I'm not saying I get the final say. I always ask them for what they say, is because if you always gonna have, like, you gotta have a good team around you. That's like the biggest thing. It's not no you dolo, you know what I'm saying, doing you. Because at first I was like that. I was, especially with like I want to say after like 2019, 2020, it was definitely like that. It was just me going to the studio, not telling nobody. It was just me working in the studio. It wasn't like I was looking for a manager. I was looking for anything like that because I'm thinking I could be my own manager. You know, I'm just thinking I could do every job, and then it stressed me the hell out. And then I'm just like, yo, like what am I really focused on? Am I a beat maker today or I'm an artist today? And then like I said, with the help of my team, that really helped me set the difference. And what it works. Sometimes what I think ain't working for them, and that's a good thing. Like that's like I'll it was one time. I made like a whole beat. It was like like a dance hall type beat. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Made it, and like when my team came in, it was like, I was like, this is gonna go crazy. This is gonna go on the album. I ain't hearing it from none of y'all. And then they just like, all right, I played it. They wasn't jacking it. So I'm just like, like that. It didn't hurt my soul, but it was just like a shot to my ego a little bit because I'm so used to going by myself.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is the best shit ever, and I'm gonna just drop it. But it's just like they looking at me like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's hard, but it ain't that one. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of that, but that helped me grow though. So it was just now I'm really patient on what I want out, and now it's like it ain't rushed, it ain't nothing, and it ain't what I want, what I don't want out. You know?
Yeah. One of the things that Ray Daniels, who he's an executive A&R, he's moved around for different labels, so I forget which label he's on right now. But one of the things that he said is artists sometimes they don't want to listen to their management, their team, because it is your body of work, it's your creation.
It's your creation. That's how I was feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anything you create, you think it's automatically the best, or you want the last say on it. If you think it's terrible but somebody else thinks it's great, then that's where the fight begins. But like we talked about before, if Michael never listened to Quincy Jones,
there'll be no
Michael. No Michael. There'd be a Michael, but it wouldn't have been Michael.
The Michael.
Exactly.
That's why
he wouldn't have been the best artist.
Course, yeah.
So that's definitely an important lesson to learn, and it takes time to build your team and find your team. People get fired, people get hired, but if you find that right team, a lot of artists, that's how they win. That's how they become more successful, by having a great team with them to help them throughout the process and working with specific producers and stuff like that, and branching out too as well. But that home base, that team, that's like a family to you. That's where a lot of artists win. Like Drake has 40.
Yeah, of course,
for
every project,
But I wanted to touch a little bit more about your process in making the album. When you were going through the tracks, what was like the cutoff for some of the tracks that you were like, all right, this isn't making it? Why did some make it and some didn't?
Personally for me, it's like I sit on songs a lot. And that's what people knack about me a lot. I just sit on songs, but it's a reason why I'm doing that. It's like some days I drop and it's weird. Some days I drop and I had the feeling. It's like, you know what? This is it. This is what I'm gonna do. Boom. But some songs I listen to and I'll do the songs for the moment, and then the next day I'll listen to it. I'll be like, what the hell did I just make last night? But it wasn't like, it's not as crazy though, but it's just like, it wasn't sounding as the same. It was like in the moment. So, and I realized like at that time when I was, like I said, in the studio by myself, it was always about in the moment. Like in the moment. The song gonna sound hard, and I would just sit on it. And then it would be so much songs I'll be sitting on, just like, yo, like what of these is going out, and what of these songs could really make an album. And then that's when I was like, all right, well, like that project, the last project I put out, it wasn't more so of that, it was more so of, it's just the effort attitude, like this is my sound, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I'm gonna drop. And it's not like nobody gonna say nothing and nobody's gonna do nothing about it, And I think now, like I said, moving forward to this next project is more patience than rushing it or having that sound and thinking it's the hottest shit of the world. And you gotta really wait on it, There's other elements to it. It's like that beat could be a little harder, that the line could be a little, you know what I'm saying? You could not say that and all that stuff. And that would always like factor into me cutting the song. But as far as like the song, the full body song, I always try to aim. Every song I make is to make a good song. Now it's always yes, of course. And like I'm not that guy to be like I'm a professional. Like I just like it just shows in the work. Like sometimes I'm like, yo, this snare ain't it, and I'll look through like 6 different snares, and it's just like what's wrong with me? But it's just like it gotta be the perfect sound.
Do you have a particular DAW that you go to?
I'm sorry,
DAW, digital audio.
Digital audio. I use Pro Tools, but sometimes like I use like for beat making. I'm talking about for beat making wise. I use Pro Tools, and then I got a MPK audio, so to beat padded. So taking the old school sometimes, but I think that's personally I think that's easier for me because growing up I was always watching my uncle, like I told you, on the MPK. So I'm just like, yo, like that's more easier sometimes than Pro Tools, you know, and I think sometimes I make magic on there, sometimes I make magic on Pro Tools, but as far as that, for beat maker go, those are the audios I use, and then for the audios I do for music, I always use Pro Tools as well, and I use Logic.
Gotcha.
So other than that, yeah.
One of my favorites is A-Rap Music. Just with the drum pad.
Yeah. He could do that and so fast and do like all that.
And not mess up too.
Yeah.
Like, how is this?
Yeah. Him and Ye got it. And Swiss, I could say shout out Swiss Beats too.
Swiss too.
Yeah, they got it too. I seen Swiss live doing that, and it was like, yo, like this guy's who he says he is, and that's another thing. Like that's crazy. Like it's the different, it's the energy. Like I said before, it's like, oh, that's Swiss Beats, and he's going to show you he's Swiss Beats. There's a reason why he's Swiss Beats. You know,
the whole verses,
and that's a business move in its own. So it's just like
business and music.
Business and music all work together again, but.
How would you describe your sound? Do you think your sound has a name or a label, or you don't think that at all?
Let me not. I'll always aim to be versatile because I think the versatiles always stay longer, last longer. You know,
True.
like look at Thug. You know what I'm saying? Thug is out of this world, but he could go on any record right now.
Yeah.
He could go on a pop record, R&B record, a rap record. He could do anything. You know, and his genre is no genre. He could just go wherever, but that's what I aim to do too. Like I aim to, you know, like I look for, as far as like for R&B sounds and stuff, I'll be more on the writing side, and I like singing and stuff like that. I also like rapping too, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could define my sound. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Also, once you're boxed in, then you're known.
That's when you're known as that, and now, and I don't even want to have that energy around, because once you know there's that same thing is gonna be like, now you just giving us McDonald's food. Now you're not giving us the real quality food. You're not giving us the steak. You're giving us McDonald's.
Do you have what's like the end goal for you as a musician, as an artist? Because we talked about business, and you said you look up to Jay, and Jay has transitioned to more than just music.
Of course.
So what's like a vision or some type of vision that you have for yourself as an artist?
Oh man, that's a good question, man. There's one side of me that want to say I want to be icon status, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's should be every artist's goal, because you always want to be number one. And that's how I always felt, even going into anything, sports, music, anything. You always got to aim to be number one. There ain't no number two with that. That, obviously, I want to be towards the icon status, and also put my city on. That's my big end goal, for real, because it's a lot of people, it's a lot of artists in my city, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Swaggy G, shout out to Kai Sosa, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all the White Plains people, but Classic Poet, shout out to him too. But it's a lot. I just want my city to win, you know, because there's a lot of people that look over, especially Westchester in general. Yeah. So it's just like, especially, I just want to be one of them cities like a Yonkers or Mount Vernon, you know what I'm saying, to have somebody to come out of there like, yo, he did it for that city, you know, and that's my real end goal.
Yeah, because I used to live in Canada, actually.
Yeah.
And so that was right around when Drake was becoming popular and big. And so everybody in Canada, even to this day, but especially when he started, then The Weeknd came after and all that stuff. And
that's what opened up the doors. Now everybody, now you know it's Toronto. Even though it's Drake's city, but it's like it's Toronto now.
Yeah,
now it's like, yo, you could get artists out of there.
Exactly.
Now it's like something to look at. That's what I want for my city.
Because I remember one time I was in college, and they were like the top 5 songs or whatever. 4 out of 5 of the artists were Canadian. It was Justin Bieber, Weeknd, Drake, and somebody else. I was just like, that's what happens.
That's what
inspire other people.
Atlanta too took over. It became a powerhouse. Chicago. I always be listening. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Now Tennessee is the real stomping ground. Memphis. Everybody in Memphis is coming out like everything. Yeah, so I think like, and what Yo Gotti did, and
Yo Gotti.
what he did with the business thing as well, is having all them artists. But what they all did is crazy. Is they, what they did is put on for their city, and they did it the right way. It wasn't like a put on because I'm here. It wasn't a. It's more of a put on. Now I gotta show you my peoples. You know what I'm saying? Now
Exactly.
it's more.
Let other people eat too.
Yeah.
And then that's how you become. That's how you have the icon status that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and that's what I'm aiming for.
What's the hardest part about being an artist? Because that's why I mentioned before. I know.
I'm me. It's just me as a person. I think some people don't get it sometimes. Sometimes I don't get it. You know, sometimes I'm a people person, don't get me wrong, but it's just like some shit that I take more serious in music, some people lack on sometimes. And I'm not the guy to be on like crazy just pressing them about it, but it's more so like, you ain't in it for the same shit as I am, is I'm gonna look at you different. But I'm gonna still work with you because the bag is a bag. True. But I'm gonna look at you different because it's just like, I really dedicated to this, you know? So sometimes my personality could come off as, you know, like doing too much. Like, not doing too much, but it's more like doing too much. Like in the studio, I could be writing one time and I could be telling them like, yo, you could. But it's more, I care about the music, you know. And some people just go in there, lay their verse down, and dip out of there. That's some of them. That's how they think. But it's just like, nah, I'm gonna lay my verse, then I'm gonna try to make another beat in there, put my other mans on. You know, that's how I'm thinking. But it's more so of me caring too much about it sometimes. But it's that's the only thing. And sometimes I get in myself in the own way too. Sometimes I'm just thinking like, yo, is this gonna be the project? Is this gonna be the one? And sometimes I can't be thinking like that, but it's just like, you gotta think like that, because that gives you the hunger to keep going. Because sometimes you lose it. You be like, yo, I haven't been in the studio in 2 days. That's why I be telling myself, I'm like, yo, I haven't been in the studio in 2 days, bro. Like, you gotta go in the studio. It ain't no cool. That's all cool. You need to go in the studio, because I feel like somebody else is doing the same shit and harder than you. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But you know, it's a different thing. It's a different energy when I come for that.
And one of the examples for that would be Russ.
Yeah.
That's somebody who put out a song each week.
And that's a great, like, for people that's just now like getting into music, that's a great person to look up to, Russ, because Russ, I got his book as well. He has a book out. He has a book out. I have his book as well, and I got that from a gift from a friend. Dope. And she gave me the book, but his book is also inspiring. He was talking about how he used to stay downstairs when he moved out of his crib, and then he stayed downstairs in one of this like music record store, and all these artists used to come through, and he would just be downstairs staying there, and he would just show them the music and all that stuff like that. And he was saying how he had his video crew. He was telling like people to have a team before. He was putting me on about the team because he used to travel with his man that was a video guy, and one of his videos was on YouTube, was really popping off. But he also taught me like to be persistent with music, keep dropping. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like he dropped like 13 albums before he was really on like that. So it's just like, yo, if you could drop 13 albums and that 13th album was the one, it's like, yo, how many, you know? Like, it's just like, now you got people that's just now in tune with your music, is listening like for the 13th album. Like, they gonna be like, yo, like, we've been making music. Now I got a whole list of music I can listen to. It ain't no, oh, I just got here and he got 2 songs out. You know, and that's what I want to do as well. But like I said, I gotta be patient too, because sometimes I'll be heavy on this drop sometimes, and sometimes I'll just be like, nah, I ain't gonna drop it. But.
No, I noticed, because even when I came back, I saw you put out 3 more songs, and I was just like, oh, you let me out last year, Leak.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I didn't even know that these were out. But when I went to go back and check for music, then I saw them. And so when you said that you put out a lot of music, but as a person that, obviously we got the EP earlier, and then when you put that out, I was like, oh, immediately I want to go listen to it. So there is something to putting out music as well. There's like the Kendrick way, where you don't put it out for drop.
And I try to be that way. That was my thing. That was my thing. Like Kendrick, he is also an influence for me too, because. Just the way he stays out the way and conducts business is how everybody should do it, you know, and especially in this generation. But I was on that type of time too. I was like, yo, I'm gonna try to do the Kendrick way and just not drop nothing, you know what I'm saying, until it's my time. But then I thought about it, people was moving past that. They're not thinking, yo, we waiting on the West drop. Everybody been asking me like mad times, like during that time, like, yo, you dropping? I'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, that just like, I didn't even know time was passing by. You know what I'm saying? They waiting for the next thing now. So now it's
Exactly.
like, all right, so let me put my stuff out now.
Yeah, especially in this day and age, everybody.
Yeah, it's like microwave. It's like microwave shit. It's just everything is just
every
now.
week.
Yeah, every week now. Yeah.
So with these 3 tracks, is that gonna sound more like the next project that you're gonna put out? Or
Yeah, because those are versatile. If you listen to the 3 tracks, one is like a drill vibe, one is like a real rappy, trappy, and the other one's just me having fun. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I think just me being versatile is going to keep me here, because a lot of people can't really, like I said, define my music. You can't really say like West is CDGWES is just a rapper, or CDGWES just be singing R&B songs, or CDGWES just be doing trap beats. Like it's a difference. It's just, I just want the people that listen to my music to just always have an ear. It's not, when you listen to my music, people, fans out there, just always have an ear. Like, and that's for any time you listen to music. Just always have an ear for music. Always listen to what that person will be saying. Even though if you think it's trash, you think it's trash. But if you listen to it, I want you to really listen to it. Like, with Tyler's creator is also my influence. When he dropped Igor, it was like like, this ain't Tyler. Nah, you know what I'm saying? This totally ain't different. This ain't Tyler. And that was like the first time him producing beats, and that opened up the door for him. Crazy. He got a Grammy off of that. So it's just like, that right there, it just shows, like, if you have an ear, anything's possible.
Yeah. Do you think that the more people are able to do music, because when you mentioned the guy or a guy who might just lay his verse and then leave, do you think that dilutes music today?
I don't think it does, because everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to be, you know what I'm saying, care all that much for music. Not everybody going to care about a snare. Not everybody going to care about if the beat's hard and they know they can rap. And that's why I don't judge that. I just know who that person is, though. Yeah. I don't judge it at all, because I feel like if you judge it, it's not, the music ain't going to come out good, number one. Number two, it's just like, you going to have an opinion over a person that could do something good as you, but he just does it in a different way. True. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really judge that as diluting music, because there's people this majority of the music industry does that. You know what I'm saying? They lay their couple songs, they let the engineer work, they let the people that send beats, they do all that. They do their job basically for them, and they just rap. But some people like me, they want to hear they sound good, and they know they're the only person that can do that. Or sometimes they want that snare to be good, like I said, and then the only person they could do that. But like, I can't really say it's diluting music, but I know some people that's not really caring, that does dilute it. Yeah. But I know the people, I can't judge them for that. I can't, honestly, because they could be one of the greatest rappers and they just do that. And you can't even judge them for that. You can't even be like, oh, all right, because you just come in the studio. You can't even get mad at that. But it's sometimes I look at it with like, okay, with a grain of salt, you know. But I don't really get upset about it. Nah.
Gotcha. Do you have anything that you're still waiting to learn with music? Something that you don't think that you could get better at with music? Because obviously you could always think that you could get better,
of course,
there's like one particular thing that...
Oh, man. You know what it is? When I took a trip to LA and met out there with Rashad, he's more sociable, obviously. He knows a lot of people. And what it was, I was in the studio with him, and then it was another producer there. Now, seeing Dito, I'll call him Dito, I'm sorry. I call him Rashad Kamari. My fault, bro. When he seen him doing that, though, he's showing me different producers and how they work. I sometimes it was at a point where it was just like, yo, like, I gotta set my shit up, or it's just like they're just doing way totally other shit. It's more so of me going to places and learning, like, yo, like, I knew about Atmosphere, right? And like, when we went to the LA studio, this kid was killing it on the Atmosphere. One of his producing friends, killing it. It's Atmosphere is a software. Really, you just find sounds on the keyboard, basically. Gotcha. So it's just like, you could find, like, everybody uses it. All main producers use it today. But I was just memorizing. I'm like, yo, like, he's killing it on the keyboards, because he could just make his own melody. I don't have to find a melody or download a melody no more. He could just like, and make a melody. And that's like, to me, it's just like, yo, like, that's really mind-boggling to me, because it's just like, now I gotta get my keyboard, and now I gotta. But that's just what make me. That's a good thing about music too, because it's just like, it wake you up. It's like somebody else got a keyboard thing. You don't got your keyboard thing, and that just wake you up. Now it's what's gonna make you like I said, get in the gym more.
Yeah,
Basically, back to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as learning, I'm learning every day about music, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning every day. Like, I could watch a YouTube video today about music and learn something new every day. It's learn about a sample, learn about who wrote this or who produced this. It's a lot of things to learn about music. But until I really get in the game, really shape the game, that's when I feel like the learning just started. That's when I feel like that's when it's going to start.
Nah, trust me, I was all 2020. I was watching Zooms.
Right.
They had A&R Zooms and meetings and.
United Masters be hosting that too. They be having like a lot of A&Rs and stuff like that. I'll be watching that. I'm watching the marketing. Yeah, shout out to them. I'll be watching strategy with marketing and all that stuff like that. I'll be in tune, man. It's just like something you got to be though, because I feel like you can't just come in the game blind. Like at all. So I feel like me and my team gotta be, and I preach that with them all the time. I'll be telling them about shit that they know, sometimes they don't know, sometimes they tired of me saying it, but it's just like I want them to know too, so they won't look like just the add-ons with me. You know, I don't want nobody to be no add-on, you know, especially with my team.
So do you have a timetable of when you wanna drop the next project?
I'm shooting for, I was gonna shoot for my birthday, and that's in October, but I was honestly, like I said, I gotta be patient. So I wanna drop later in the fourth. I'm trying to get in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. But if I don't get it by December, probably January, I want it out sooner than late. Like I don't want to be waiting like no more like that, because I feel like that's what's expected of me now. It's like, oh, he's gonna drop in 2 years, like, and nobody's not gonna do that no more. So I feel like I gotta put a kick in it. But I feel like that's just, the more I'm doing though, it's just getting me into the door more, because I follow my gut, you know. So I just like, yo, you know what, I'm gonna just drop now and just see how that works. And it's been working good for me.
Do you have a name for the project? You don't have to say it now, but just, do you have a name where you
Nah, I ain't gonna say
how much would you say that you have done already for the like 80%, 70%?
Oh, jeez. You know what it is? It's more so like I told you earlier about what songs is getting cut. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 albums or 4 albums worth of songs. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that know me could attest to that. I be making music not every single day, but mostly every single day. But it's like, it's more so, like I said, cutting the songs, or it's just more so of me just, you know, finding the rhythm of the album. Because what I'm aiming to do for the album is more for versatility. It's like, one half you gonna get some, second half you gonna get some, or you might be mixed. I don't know, but I know that I have a bunch of songs that I got, and I'm still working on every day. And my goal mainly for this album is a lot of features. So that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for, you know, getting people's names out there, having people from my city on there, also having like people from not from my city on there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate
just
you,
give
bro.
the people your socials, websites, anything you got.
CDGWES, CDGWES on Instagram, for writing and music collaborations, anything. Just let me know, DM me. We can get it popping. We can get it. We can make history.
Exactly. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all social media platforms. Life of Drew 96. This will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, all streaming services. Whatever you got in your phone, it's gonna be on there. It's gonna be on YouTube as well. Links, everything will be down below. I'm asking for all the books and all the information that you gave. Not for real, for artists that need that, because it's very important. Because this was a great discussion. We had a great time here today. So I just want to thank you for coming on Interviews with Drew.
Appreciate you,
First
bro.
one of this year.
Yeah, man. Hey,
it's rolling. It's going
to be a good one, better one, man. Shout out Fast Ave. Shout out Undrafted. You know what I'm saying? Shout out all that. You know, wearing the home team brand. Shout out Undrafted. But shout out. Thanks, bro. Exactly. Appreciate you.
Of course, bro. Project coming soon. Stay tuned. Peace.